Hello and welcome back to another video. Had some people ask me how much I spend cost of living here in Vietnam. Currently I'm in Nha Trang, and so I'm going to take a look at some of my budget numbers and share those with you. I'm going to head back to the apartment now. I'll open up my computer and take a look at some of my expenses so you can see exactly what I've been spending here during my time in Vietnam. Okay, I'm back at my apartment out here sitting in this beautiful lobby. Let me pull up this spreadsheet and let's get right into some numbers here. Okay, in this chart here, I've got my Vietnam monthly expense budget, and as you can see here, the first line is my housing and apartment. So I spend $300 a month for this apartment in Nha Trang, Vietnam. It's Home Vu Apartments. And as I go through this budget list, I'll show some video or some photos of different things on the list. So as you can see, it's a studio apartment on the 7th floor. It's a very comfortable place. The building is just a couple years old. You can find cheaper places here in this city, but for me, this is very comfortable. It's a good location, and I feel that the price is very reasonable. Of course, when you're in Vietnam, you can spend a lot more on an apartment, absolutely. So the second line item is my electric. I'll spend about $50 a month on my electric bill, and that's during the summer months or when it's very hot here. I will run the air conditioner a lot, so $50 for that. The water in the apartment is very cheap. It's approximately $5 a month. The internet is included with the apartment rent, so I put $0 here for that. I'll get into my cell phone here in a little bit. That's a separate bill. But as far as the Wi-Fi in the apartment and the apartment common areas, that is free with the rent. Okay, let's look at my food budget. Just looking at kind of maybe a daily or a weekly meal plan here. I will often go down to the corner market and get either some chicken pasta or a banh mi sandwich, and that's very reasonable. Might spend $3, I've got $3.38 for that, or about $105 a month. Most days I'll go into a coffee shop, not every day, but I would say at least 4 or 5 days a week. So I've calculated this out every day on a 31-day month basis at $65. If I go have a fresh watermelon juice, that would be another $26 a month. Usually either for breakfast or for dinner, one or the other. I'll have a bowl of pho, just some Vietnamese soup with beef or chicken, and that will cost about $65 a month. Maybe a snack in the evening. Monthly drinking water is actually very cheap. Here's a shot of my water dispenser in the apartment. So that water dispenser comes with the rent, but then I pay, I think it's 50,000 dong for every refill. So that's approximately $2.50 to $3. And if I'm drinking a lot, I might go through a couple of those a month if I'm using it for tea or coffee and my drinking water. As far as eating out, outside of Vietnamese food or street food, there are Italian restaurants here. There's fast food restaurants. There's a McDonald's, there's a KFC, and the McDonald's and KFC are quite reasonable, but if you go into a Western restaurant that's going to serve Italian food or maybe a steak, you're going to spend maybe $10 to $15, maybe upwards of $20, depending on the restaurant. And I might do that maybe twice a month. So I just put $22 down for that. And again, this budget is pretty conservative in terms of just real simple living. So really, when you see YouTube videos about budgets, it really depends on your lifestyle and how extravagant or simple you want to live. Okay, let's look at some transportation. I even put walking down here for $0 because I do walk a lot of places here in the city. But if I am taking a scooter ride and I need to rent a scooter from the apartment, I might spend on average maybe $35 a month on that. I don't take the scooter out every day. Now, some people, when they come, they will rent the scooter for an entire month, or maybe they might even purchase one and then sell it back at the end of their stay. But out of convenience, I've just chosen to pay a little bit extra for the convenience to rent it here directly from the apartment. Then I don't have to deal with any outside people for that. I just simply go down to the lobby. If it's available, I take it out, and so that they charge $100,000 a day for that. Fuel is very inexpensive. Actually, the cost per liter for petrol here is equivalent to other parts of the world, but the scooter is so economic and efficient, I don't use very much at all, so I just put $5 to $6 there. Let's get into some miscellaneous things. The Vietnamese cell bill is about $5 a month. It's really amazing to me how inexpensive a cell phone is here compared to where I live in the US. So for $5 a month, it's an excellent data plan, and I think it's unlimited calling, and I don't use the calling very much at all. And in most places, most places are going to have Wi-Fi anyway. So I really just have this phone, even though I don't use it very much, really for emergency's sake if my US-based line is not working. Personal hygiene items, $15 a month. I might get 2 haircuts a month, so $9. There's some very nice spas here in Nha Trang, just nice, clean establishments. $10 to $12, maybe even $15 will get you a very nice hour-long massage, so I put $25 for that. Tourist entry fees, if you're going to a tourist attraction, they're generally very inexpensive. I did a video on a 3-island tour that a tour bus came, picked me up at the apartment, went to 3 different islands in the area, served lunch, brought me back to the hotel apartment, and that was only $25. And I don't do a lot of tourist things now, but I certainly was my first 3 to 4 months here in Asia. Okay, let's go down to the gift section. Occasionally I'll buy someone a card or a small gift, just friends or people I meet here in Vietnam. So that's not always the case, but I put it in the budget anyway. Clothing, I have replaced a few items since I've been here in Saigon. A friend took me to a really nice clothing market, and I bought a brand new pair of Levi's. I bought a couple pair for $12 a piece, and then some nice shirts for $10 a piece. So I don't buy a lot of clothing, but I put $20 in for that. Okay, let's talk about visa runs and when and if that is necessary. So currently in Vietnam, all a U.S. citizen and many other countries, I think there's 80 some countries, can get an e-visa for a 30-day stay in Vietnam, and after the 30 days you have to leave the country and come back in. So it does add quite a bit to the monthly budget. I have been taking visa runs to Malaysia, to Singapore. Now, you could go to another country in Southeast Asia that would allow you to stay longer. Maybe it's a little more convenient, but I love Vietnam so much that it's worth it to me to do the visa runs, go through that extra hassle and expense so I can be here where I enjoy. So the cost of the visa itself is $25, and depending on whether you're taking a plane to go, let's say, for example, to Singapore or Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, or maybe even a bus to Cambodia, figure $250 on average for your transportation. If you're going to stay for a night or two, I would budget $75 for a hotel for the visa run, and then airport transfers. For example, here from my apartment in Nha Trang to the airport is $15, so there and back is $30, and then on my destination leg, whether it's Singapore, taking the MRT, the subway, or a taxi in and out of the city, I'm adding another $30, so $60 for that. Now, me personally, I have some expenses in the U.S. that I still maintain. Now, number one is travel and health insurance. So I would recommend even if you're a younger person, I'm 51 years old, but I'm in relatively good health. A lot of younger people think, well, I'm healthy. There's nothing's going to happen to me. I won't have any issues. But regardless of who you are or how healthy you are, you really need to look at some travel and health insurance. I use a company called Safety Wing. I find it very good. They provide, it's travel insurance, it's evacuation insurance, and it's also health insurance. And I pay $115 a month for that. Now, I think if you're in an age bracket of maybe 18 to 25 years old, that's even as low as $40. And then the older you are, that premium per month goes up. So that's what I pay for monthly health insurance. Life insurance, I maintain 2 policies at home, and I pay $65 a month for those. I have a couple music subscriptions. One subscription is to Epidemic Sound, which is some of the music I use in the videos, and then I also have a internet-based music service that I subscribe to. So the combination of those two is $25 for that. One thing that I did, I decided I was going to keep my U.S. cell number when I came here, even though I was planning to move here. I had a lot of accounts, whether it be bank accounts, logins, different web credentials that I needed that was attached to my cell phone number. So for two-factor authentications, the cell phone for me is important and necessary, so I decided to keep that. I also budget in $40 a month for some basic taxes back in my home country, whether it be personal property tax or real estate tax, what have you. And then donations. I do make some donations to a nonprofit organization each month. So if you look at my housing, the food, the utilities, transportation, miscellaneous visa runs, expenses I have in the U.S., I am spending $1,658 U.S. per month here in Vietnam. Okay, so that sounds pretty reasonable, and I hear people on YouTube and different places on the internet talking about $1,000 a month. I don't really understand how people are doing that. Now you could maybe eliminate some of these things here, but if you're in Vietnam, I don't think you can get away from these expenses. And the rest of this is pretty basic. So this is not living very extravagant at all. This is a very simple and pretty quiet lifestyle. I'm not a partier. I don't drink alcohol, so I don't have a big entertainment budget like some people might. So you can take these numbers from me as kind of a basic baseline, and then depending on your lifestyle or your habits, then you can add to this. Another thing I would also want to mention is here, the first 6 months of my travel versus what I'm doing now. So this $1,658 is my expenses now that I've settled into a lifestyle here in Vietnam. But the first 3 to 4 to 5 months that I was traveling Southeast Asia, I was going to a lot of different cities, jumping around to a lot of different countries, so my travel budget was quite high. My transportation bill was high, my lodging and hotel expense was a lot higher. Here at the apartment, when I commit to a month at a time, I can get this lower rate. But certainly if you're traveling to different places and different cities and you're bouncing around to different hotels, then of course you're going to pay more for one night here and one night there, or just 2 or 3 nights in a different location. So take that into mind as you consider where you will be traveling, and like this line item here, how long in one place. Like me, I'm staying here for months at a time, but will you be going to a different place every week? Are you single? Are you a couple? Or maybe you're a family? And then how many places will you be traveling? So really take a lot of time in preparing for your travel budget, and consider these 4 factors here when determining your money. You really want to be realistic in your expectation. Again, take my numbers as a baseline for Vietnam. and then depending on where you're going, how long you're staying, use that and add to this monthly budget. So I hope this has helped you. I am really loving my time here in Vietnam. So I appreciate you guys watching. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, I would ask that you would hit the subscribe button, give me a like, and I will see you in the next video.